as you go on your way. That's entertainment.
Hello and welcome to Real Live Entertainment. Today we're going to discuss a movie that I just saw. You know, that wonderful genius, Woody Allen, has come out with a new film that he wrote and directed. And I think that his genius, part of his genius, is that he'll take a chance. He does any kind of film that strikes his fancy. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And it doesn't matter because he's taken a chance. He doesn't do the safe thing ever. And I think in this film, it's called Blue Jasmine. I think this film works and works very well. Another one of his things that make him a genius is that his casting is something that no other filmmaker would do. He casts people that you would never think of. For instance, in this film, he casts an old-time comedian from the 80s named Andrew Dice Clay. It's not a comedy, this film. There are no laughs, and Andrew Dice Clay is not a comedian. He's a sad guy who had a chance at spending a little money and lost it all. And it ruined his life. He also cast Louis C.K., who is the new hot comedian on television today. Also, not in a comedy role. Man didn't make any comic remarks, but they were both beautifully cast in this film. The lead, of course, was Cate Blanchett, who I must tell you, without her, wouldn't have been a film. She was a combination of people. She was a woman who was going through a nervous breakdown, and she kind of has it right in front of your face. She's married to a character named Hal, who is played by Alec Baldwin. He is kind of a Bernie Madoff character. He's got a lot of money. He spends a lot of money, but of course it's not his money. He rips off people, and he gets caught. So at this point, he's in prison. His wife, who is Cate Blanchett, who is Jasmine, doesn't know how to cope with no money. The government took her furs and her jewels and her houses and her apartment and her cars, and she's left with nothing. She doesn't know how to cope with nothing. So she goes to San Francisco to stay with her sister, who is a poor but very happy young woman with 2 small children. And she moves in on her. And you watch Cate Blanchett deteriorate. It's fascinating. She's magnificent. I mean, if there's an Oscar bid, it should be for her. And let's see some film of the Blue Jasmine.
So what do you think?
I love it. You shouldn't spoil me so.
Well, why not? Who else am I gonna spoil?
He met me at a party and swept me off my feet.
I fell in love with the name Jasmine.
You know, I have never been to San Francisco. I'll be staying with my sister.
Jasmine! Oh my God.
Look at you. Your place is homey. Oh, the flight was bumpy. The food was awful. I mean, you'd think first class.
I thought you were tapped out.
I'm dead broke. Really, I mean, the government took everything.
All I can say is you look great.
Now who's lying?
Is there anything you want that you don't have?
Sweetheart, it's beautiful.
When your sister had all that money, she wanted nothing to do with you. Now that she's broke, all of a sudden she's moving in.
She's not just broke. She's all screwed up.
Love, you know? You hear me, Hal?
Excuse me.
Are you talking to me?
Ginger told me all about you. One minute you're on top of the world, the next, guy turns out to be a crook. Well, how long are you planning on staying with Ginger?
No one wants to get out of here as fast as I do.
I'm sure this is a big come down from what you're used to.
You'll be very happy to know that I lost every cent of my own money.
Her husband was a slick operator. I was there a week. I knew the guy was hitting on a girlfriend.
I can't.
You choose losers because that's what you think you deserve, and that's why you'll never have a better life.
She doesn't care about you. She's a phony.
Can you please not fight in here? Don't think I can take it. For some reason, my Xanax isn't kicking in. Anxiety, nightmares, and a nervous breakdown. There's only so many traumas a person can withstand till they take to the streets and start screaming.
Interesting film, no? Cate Blanchett, who many reviewers have said was the Blanche Dubois from Streetcar Named Desire of this film. I don't really agree. There was no sexual tension between Cate Blanchett and her sister's husband, or later when she was divorced, her sister's boyfriend. So that was a big part of the Tennessee Williams play, A Streetcar Named Desire. Had nothing to do with this film. But the woman who couldn't cope with the loss of her life, as she knew it, the loss of money, which was her whole thing, was what this film was really about. And so she, between Xanax and Stolichnaya vodka, that's how she got through her days, until she finally ended up sitting on a park bench talking to herself. And that was when she really broke down. She was wonderful. I enjoyed the film tremendously, and I recommend it. I think that if you want to see a film that's thought-provoking and entertaining at the same time, go see Blue Jasmine. I think it's a tour de force by that genius, Woody Allen. So for OCTV, I'm Elaine Kugelman, and thank you for joining me today in this movie review of Blue Jasmine.
As you go on your way, that's entertainment.